Hi and welcome to another episode of Castle Support, the show where we answer all your brewing related questions. Today's question comes from China and it's regarding the difference between, using grains to make beer and using purely extract to make beer. Well, both of them do have their uses. However, there's certain countries where brewing beer normally is actually impossible due to laws and import and customs and all those sorts of things. But personally, I would never brew a beer purely out of extract. But let's delve deeper into that and we see exactly what the difference is between grains and extract. Now, when I talk about extract, what I'm talking about is the dehydrated version of what you'd normally know as wort, which can either come in a syrup form or come in a powder form. The usage of this is pretty extensive in terms of baking, and there's a lot of other products that actually use this a lot in their manufacture. But when we talk specifically about beer, malt extract does fill a few niches that normal brewing cannot. Now, what happens when you have a country that, you can't import malt, or the import is very difficult for some other reason? You are forced to use malt, such in places like Nigeria, where it is really difficult to import the grain that you actually need and can be very expensive. Another pro of extract is that you don't need expensive equipment. You literally need a boiler and a fermenter. There's no science involved, there's no water chemistry, there's nothing. You literally just add the two together, boil with some hops or hop extract, and boom, you've got a beer. So also, malt extract in beers is also used to increase gravity without adding sucrose or fructose or any of those sugars, especially if you're looking at creating larger batches of beers and then sort of dividing them up and thinning them out afterwards to create a larger volume. These are all uses for extract that are pretty well known. The downsides of extract is, firstly, you have no control. The extract is just what it is. You adding grains and so on, you have no control over the initial water chemistry, you have no control over the fermentability, which is another aspect actually. Generally speaking, malt extract is never as fermentable as, when you actually go and you do the mash yourself, and straight from mashing, boiling, and carrying on with it, you'll never get the same rate of fermentability. And, honestly, craft breweries never use the stuff. We generally take grains in our own requirements and we put it then and create our own unique flavor. Now, the next aspect is, of course, grains. Put some grain in my hands. Yeah, so grains is by far the most popular choice. For a whole variety of reasons. That's why everybody pretty much makes it purely from malt, and nobody really uses extract. Extract, by definition, was a niche thing, as I said previously. With grains, you have much more control over the end flavor. The wort quality and clarity is better. The fermentability is better. You have, once again, control over the water chemistry. You have control over the small nuances in flavor profile. It's just, on the whole, better. The only downsides that I could see is, obviously there's a much higher expenditure in terms of capital investment, in terms of the kind of equipment you'll need to create beer from it. But, this is the standardized way of making beer. So, by far, this is the best, especially for the craft beer market. For concluding, I would say that unless there's a very specific reason that you're using extract, I would stick to the standard ways of actually making it. If you have any other questions, please let us know in the comments. And thank you very much for watching another episode of Castle Support. See you next time. Cheers.